Hello, and thanks to all of you who have called in today for everything you need to know about EdNet 2015. I'm Vicki Bigham, EdNET Conference Manager, and we sure hope this program is helpful for those of you that are new to our conference. But over the years, I've learned that many of you listen in for a refresher or to catch up on new activities and opportunities. So welcome to all of you. I am so pleased today also to have representatives from a few of our Tier 1 sponsoring companies. They're going to be here sharing the mic with me at various points in the program. From the Global Grid for Learning powered by Edutone, we have Terry Smithson, President. From the PR with Panache team, we have Managing Partner Jacob Hansen, and representing SCHOOLMESSENGER is Nate Brogan, Senior Vice President. My warm and very appreciative welcome to each of you. This year, EdNet is going to be held in Atlanta, October 4th through 6th at the Lowe's, Atlanta. And the theme we chose for this year is Innovate, Accelerate, Deliver. We want you to find the tools and insight you need to accomplish these objectives. The EdNET Conference provides a B2B forum for senior executives in the pre-K-12 market. As far as I'm concerned, there's nowhere you can get more market trend information or important contacts than during the 2.5 days of EdNET. And we're really proud that EdNET is regarded as the premier business networking conference for our industry. And we work real hard to provide a lot of tools before, during, and following the conference to facilitate and support that. As a B2B event, the senior executives who attend are from larger and long-established companies, names you would know, as well as a lot of smaller ones and newcomers to our market. Often at the CEO, President, VP level, depending upon the size of the company, they represent kind of the range of companies in our market. So ones that focus on hardware, administrative and instructional software, textbook publishers, supplemental publishers, testing and assessment, PD firms, online learning, and more. We also see a lot of investment firms in attendance, as well as service providers to the industry. At the bottom of the screen, you can see a link. Those who are less familiar with EdNET like to know who attends. On the conference website, you can see a list of all of the individuals and companies registered to date, and this will be updated for you on an ongoing basis. We have said for years, and it is true, that EdNET programming is built for industry leaders by industry leaders. One of the best parts of my job is having the honor each year to work with our Industry Executives Advisory Board. This year I was able to work with these 13 industry executives who served on the board and helped to shape our program. One of those board members and a longtime colleague and friend of mine is Terry Smithson with Global Grid for Learning, powered by Edutone, one of our EdNET Tier 1 sponsors. Terry, thanks so much for your longtime support of EdNET on our work. We so appreciate it, and thanks too for your insights and assistance in helping to build this year's program. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your organization, your role on the board, and perhaps why you attend and support EdNET?
Sure. Thank you, Vicki. And I feel the same way about you and the entire staff and board there. It's been a fantastic experience. So, as Vicki said, I'm Terry Smithson, the president of Edutone, and actually this is year number 15 for me coming to Edutone,
wow.
To EdNET. It's not just a conference, it's the premier B2B conference. This is the first year that I've had the honor and been invited to serve on the board. So understand, a lot of time when conferences are put together, how they're put together, you know, the conference leaders will typically just pick selected topics they think are great. But in this instance, the board and the staff of EdNET have come together and said, you know, every year to say, what is it that people really want to hear? And that's kind of the direction the conference goes. And that, so everything you see there is relevant and meaningful to every business. And I don't care if you're a startup, or a company with $500,000 in sales, or I don't care if you're a $40 billion corporation. So I started with Intel in 2000, and that's the first year I came to EdNET. So I have been at EdNET in different roles, from you know, the education strategist of Intel to working for a nonprofit to now becoming president of Edutone and attending. And I have found huge value in every single meeting that I've had at EdNet. So, what is Edutone looking for? We have a single sign-on solution, and our main reason in being there every year, and this is our 7th year as sponsor, is to make sure that we can meet with potential partners that we look forward to join within our solution. So I'm happy to talk with any of you about that. And again, happy that I was able to give some kind of input into the board as far as what we thought people would like to see happen at EdNet. I will make a simple statement. EdNet, you will get out of EdNet what you put into it. So whether you're a newbie, that this is your first time you ever set foot in the door, or whether you've been there 10, 15, or even longer, more years than I've been there, but I'll share with you how I best use EdNet. And the first thing I always do is I take a look at the schedule and find out what sessions are being put on, and then I schedule myself for those sessions and block those times on my calendar so there's no confusion. Then the next thing is between 4 and 6 weeks out from EdNet, start booking appointments. Reach out to people. Look through the networking directory. It's a fantastic directory they put together. Reach out to people and ask. Don't be afraid to ask for an appointment. It doesn't matter if it's the big company or the little company you want to meet with. They'll meet with you. But book the time. If you don't get it on the books, you're not going to have the meeting, right? And the other tip I would offer you is try and book your meetings up front, right? Book them up. Allow yourself the second half of EdNet to have some open slots, because when you're there, you're going to come across people that are going to flat out say, hey, can I meet with you? And it's a terrible thing to say, no, I'm booked up. I'll have to meet with you sometime later. Take advantage of that meeting now. And then the last thing I'll say is make sure you reach out early. Don't show up to EdNet the day that EdNet starts, the hour that the kickoff reception starts. Get there a little bit early. Give yourself some time, because that's really when you can have some fantastic meetings with people. There's a lot of people coming in from the West Coast, so they always get there a day early, and some even earlier than that. Take advantage of that and be able to book those appointments early so that you can really walk out of this conference saying, that is the best B2B conference I've ever attended. That's our goal this year. That's what we hope for all of you. Back to you, Vicki.
Terry, thanks so much. Wow. Thanks for all the good tips you gave people and for the very kind words. We appreciate both. Let's move on and see several of our advisory board members this year articulated a real need to provide more support to marketing teams. So EdNet created a first-time marketing track. It's going to run parallel to the other content programming. I think it serves what we heard as a critical need in the market, and it's going to have a pretty heavy social media and digital focus. So let's look at the sessions a little bit. Sorry. For our key content sessions this year, we've got a session on adoption and procurement. This came out of the board, lots of discussion about this. This is where tens of billions are being spent each year as these models are shifting in alignment with today's advancing technology. We'll be discussing moving from pilot to adoption with a company and a school executive, discussing research that companies use before implementing pilot programs, and we'll hear how schools are running EdTech pilots and using the results. And we will have someone from Digital Promise. You may be aware they've launched 2 crowdsourcing campaigns to gain insights from providers and educators to help answer these questions. They'll have fresh data at the time of the conference, so that should be a plus. We'll look at adaptive and personalized learning and hear some stories from districts turning themselves around. There will be a session targeted on student data privacy and its impact on data use in schools. We'll have a pre-K-12 funding and policy update. And of course, we'll feature our superintendent session with some of our nation's school leaders who will be there discussing their vision, their challenges, and their needs. Again, the marketing Playbook track will run in parallel to the general program, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. Let's look at our keynotes. Monday's keynote conversation will be with Rob Mancabelli, CEO and co-founder of Bright Bites. You may have seen in the news last week, just got a new round of impressive funding. But they're a leading provider of business intelligence systems to K-12 schools. Rob's going to illustrate what he calls the seismic shifts changing how people learn and the implications of those changes for businesses serving the ed market. In talking to him, he especially highlights 2 trends. faster feedback loops, and easier data access that require businesses to concretely demonstrate the value of their products to buyers and in real time. And on Tuesday, we're going to hear insights from social selling and digital expert Jill Rowley. We all know sales and marketing are markedly different than they were even 2 years ago. Jill's going to talk about how sales forces are being replaced by search engines and social networks, and how sales and marketing staff need to adapt their plans and behaviors at a pretty rapid pace to keep up with the change. One of the things she likes to say is that today's modern buyer is digitally driven, socially connected, mobile, and empowered with unlimited access to information and people. You may be following her. She's quite a guru in the field right now, and we're very excited to be having her at EdNET. As you look at the conference days, the conference kicks off as usual on Sunday afternoon with the Business Networking Forum, a 30-second intros by every company in attendance, and then that's followed by the kickoff reception. Prior to those two activities, I'll host the Making the Most of EdNET session designed for first-timers and anyone else who wants an overview of the conference or figure out how to best work it and make it a productive event to meet objectives. I always appreciate seeing a lot of you in that session. A lot of people come there to jumpstart the networking. Monday is a full day of programming, beginning with the networking breakfast and keynote address, followed by 3 general sessions and 4 parallel marketing playbook track sessions. That evening is the Business Opportunities Fair exhibits reception. Exhibiting is a benefit available to sponsors only, so that's something to consider if you're interested. Tuesday will open with the networking breakfast, full breakfast, and then the keynote address. That day we have 3 more general sessions and 1 marketing track session. Another sponsor benefit is to have the opportunity to host one of the Tuesday morning popular Birds of a Feather roundtable discussions, where our attendees gather to have informal conversations around a topic that's of shared interest. You can check this slide deck after the program today, or go online to our website to see the lineup of general session speakers and their bios. I think we really have a stellar group of industry leaders represented by key business leaders in our market and also a number of very respected education administrators. Okay, let me tell you a little bit more about the programming and speakers for the marketing playbook track. We have a session planned to address how to keep your brand experience consistent across all channels and touch points. We'll be addressing how to determine the best social channels for sales, PR, or marketing messages, looking at tools for influencing and scaling key search engine optimization components, and how measuring attribution can help determine the effectiveness of marketing channels. Plus, we'll have what I think is going to be a fun and real valuable session packed with solid tips from MDR marketing experts and partners, that 30 aha moments in marketing. I'm really excited about this track and the strong group of marketing faculty who will be presenting in these sessions. We have a pretty nice blend, I think, of people known to the EdNET audience as well as some new faces, and they're all armed with expert insight and strategies to share. I think there's so many reasons why you should attend EdNET: making connections, networking, gaining market insight and business solutions, learning the latest insight on proven marketing strategies, and more. And we've got some pretty great testimonials from prior attendees. We've got those peppered throughout the conference website, again from established players in our market as well as younger companies, so we're very pleased by those. The sooner you sign up and register, the sooner you have access to the online networking directory that Terry mentioned, and the social networking platform that lets attendees create their profile, search profiles of other attendees, build their own personal EdNET calendar, schedule one-to-one appointments, participate in various groups, and more. speaking of networking, there are a lot of effective networkers at EdNet. There are 3 of them joining me on the call today, but I really can't think of any who are any better at knowing how to make every second of networking count than Jacob Hansen and the team from PR with Panache, another of our Tier 1 sponsors. You guys are such fun to work with and such strong supporters of EdNet, for which we are very appreciative. Jacob, why don't you tell the audience any thoughts or tips you have about networking opportunities they can leverage at EdNet, or anything else, and let them know a little bit about your firm and your goals in attending the conference.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, Vicki, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's both you and Terry are tough acts to follow. That you've already highlighted so many great opportunities at EdNet, and you know, I think that Terry really captured it there when he said that EdNet is the place to be for B2B networking. But I also feel strongly with the program that you've gone through that it's just a great place to stay in touch with the market, what's happening out there, and all of the good things that are going on. I think in our virtual worlds that we sometimes lose that personal touch. And I feel that you and the rest of the EdNet team do a fantastic job of bringing that personal touch to the event and allowing for some great networking to happen. Really, the first thing that I wanted to highlight, and something that we really enjoy, are these 30-second intros. And I know that you had mentioned these earlier, Vicki, but that really is one of the best spots to kick off your networking. That 30 seconds doesn't seem like much, and unfortunately this year we won't have Nelson there blowing the whistle and flashing the red lights at us, but that 30 seconds goes by in the blink of an eye, and it's just an incredibly effective way to communicate why you're there, what you're looking for, whether it be distribution partners, partners in general, consultants of many different types. It's just a great place to kind of get that message out, and folks will talk for you. That they'll let other companies know that, hey, I just heard so-and-so say they were looking for that. You should go and find them. And so really, again, you guys have done a great job of fostering that networking community at an environment at EdNet. One of the other things that I wanted to highlight that Terry had mentioned earlier is really do your homework, and what you put into EdNet will really dictate what you get out of it. Some of the best meetings that you may have are really those impromptu conversations that may come up, a stranger you sit next to at lunch, but really defining what are your goals, what are your priorities for EdNet, why are you attending, and how can you best go about achieving those. Again, as Terry had said, folks want to talk to you. They want to learn what you're up to, and they want to see what kind of opportunities there are out there for some collaboration. So those are probably 2 of the biggest points. But also, again, Terry, I know that I'm pumping your ego here, but you made some great points about the sessions as well. Really some valuable insights from all the different speakers and the different panels and discussions that will be happening. That going along with defining your goals, many folks do have that goal of, I want to walk out of here with a better baseline of knowledge of what's going on in the industry, and I think that you all do a fantastic job of providing those opportunities. And just a little bit about our company. We've sponsored EdNet for a number of years. It is just a great place for us, number one, to see a lot of our clients, our friends, other industry leaders in person, rather than a voice through the phone or a floating head on a webinar or on a virtual meeting or an email address. But it's also a great place to start new relationships for us that really, as you know, Vicki, we value relationships really above anything else. And it's just a wonderful place for us to start having those conversations and seeing, potentially where we may be able to work with folks. But please do feel free to visit our website at prwithpanache.com. We are one of the premier PR and storytelling firms for the education marketplace, and we certainly would look forward to connecting with any of you, whether it be a casual conversation, helping point you in the right direction, or if you are interested in PR. But at the end of the day, I'm just extremely excited to get to Hotlanta in October and start the EdNET conference with you all.
Terrific, Jacob. Thank you so much for the kind words again. And I think you and Terry both reinforcing, schedule ahead, plan early, but also leave a window of time. Those are great tips and strategies for people that haven't been there yet. Thanks very much. This is our first time to take EdNet to Atlanta, and we think it's going to be a great city and a great venue for the conference. All the information you need for making discounted hotel reservations, finding local attractions, and more can be found online as well. Like Terry said, if you came in early, there are a lot of things to do in that area of the city too, so look for that information on the website. Whether your organization is a startup or established company, EdNET is a perfect place to find potential partners and investors while you network with leaders in the EdTech industry and learn more about doing business in our market. We're really so grateful to all of these wonderful organizations that do sponsor EdNET in our work. I'd like to invite Nate Brogan with School Messenger to the mic now. School Messenger is a new Tier 1 sponsor to EdNET this year, and we greatly appreciate their support. Robert Iskander, General Manager there, has supported our work for as long as I can remember and been an active sponsor, advisory board member, and presenter over the years. Nate, we really value School Messenger's support. Why don't you talk to our audience a bit about your organization and what you hope to gain from attending and sponsoring this year?
Yeah, absolutely, Vicki. Thank you so much. And you did mention our General Manager, Robert Iskander. One of the first things he did when he came in here to School Messenger was tell us we're going to support EdNET. We're going to do it at a very high level. Really, from everything I've heard, the networking opportunities are unmatched. And just looking, Vicki, at the excellent program that you've put together, you and the team, for this year's event, it sounds like there's quite a few learning opportunities. And just overall should be a really fantastic event. You know, with respect to School Messenger, some on the line may be familiar. We're traditionally known for our emergency communication, mass messaging, and other tools that we provide for school districts to connect home to parents. We've been very, very successful with our rollout and have now roughly 25 million students representing about 50,000 schools across the country all using our service, which is, as I think the other education marketers and other education business folks on the line can appreciate, is pretty remarkable market share for a paid service. What we're going to be doing here in Atlanta in a few months at the EdNET event is making a pretty significant announcement about some new partner opportunities. I'm not going to reveal too many details here today, but I will just say that it's going to be a really great time to get connected with myself, my other colleagues who will be there from School Messenger. Whether you're looking for new opportunities, new ways to make your product stickier and more valuable in your existing customer relationships through integrating with and partnering with School Messenger in a number of ways, or looking to drive your product to a greater audience and quickly see adoption among these, again, 50,000 schools, roughly 5,000 districts out there that use School Messenger. We're going to have some pretty interesting ways to be able to work with you on that. So look forward to catching up with you here in a couple months in Atlanta. Safe travels, and should be a great event.
Nate, thanks so much. We'll look forward to seeing you in Atlanta in October, and really appreciate all the support from School Messenger. Those of you listening in, I've got a few more slides and a little more information, but you're welcome to text a question into the Q&A panel if you have one. We'd be glad to respond to anything that I've not touched on in the discussion. For any of you that are interested, we did make some changes in what we believe to be improvements to sponsorship options for 2015. We streamlined levels of sponsorship, Tier 1, Tier 2, and supporting, and we've added additional benefits such as an additional comp registration at the Tier 1 and 2 levels, and more. Current sponsorship opportunities are available from $3,000 to $10,000. I like that our sponsors tell us that they find much of the monetary investment they make up front return to them in benefits before, during, and after the conference. That's our goal. So if you're interested in sponsoring or would just like more information, please reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation with you. My email and phone number will be at the end of this slide deck. Be aware that all sponsors must be confirmed by August 28th. Let me say just a word about two other Tier 1 sponsors who could not join us today. Our longest standing and awesome Tier 1 sponsor, Safari Montage, provides K-12 school districts with a fully integrated digital learning platform, including a learning object repository, video streaming library, IPTV, and live media streaming designed to handle video efficiently. You can review their profile here and be aware that their servers come preloaded with educational video titles titled to curriculum from the industry's leading video publishers. Some of these are Schlesinger Media, PBS, the History Channel, National Geographic, Scholastic, Disney Education, BBC, and more. Our sincere thanks to Andrew Schlesinger, CEO and co-founder, and his team. And Stephanie Hemmingson, Director of Audience Development, and her team at Education Week Market Brief have been longtime supporters as well. Reading from their sponsor profile, understanding the pre-K-12 marketplace is an art, not a science. Navigating the challenges in that space isn't easy, and finding actionable insights to guide you is even more challenging until now. EdWeek Market Brief, a premier online publication, will arm K-12 ed tech executives and staff with original data, articles, and analysis focusing in on the intersection between school decision makers and service providers. I think it's just a great publication. Don't miss out. The early bird registration discount will be available through August 21st, and there is a discount for organizations registering 2 or more people at the same time. And we do have a special discount rate for startups that qualify to encourage their participation. There's a link at the bottom of the slide here. You may check out the criteria for that online. And be sure to join the EdNET community. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Our community page also has a Flickr feed of photos from past conferences and other information that you might find fun or interesting. So that's kind of a wrap from all of us. Thanks for listening to my rundown on this year's conference. I really do appreciate your making time for the session, and I greatly appreciate Terry Smithson from Global Grid for Learning, powered by Edutone, Jacob Hansen with PR with Panache, and Nate Brogan from SCHOOLMESSENGER for joining me today. I think most any question you might have can be answered on our website at ednetconference.com. You can look for the agenda, a list of people and organizations registered, registration information, sponsorship information, and more. Or certainly feel free to email or call my amazing colleague, Andrew Zvonik, or me. Thanks again for being here today. Now go and enjoy the rest of your day.
The leader has disconnected. The conference will be terminated in 5 minutes.